Welcome back. I have a quick techie thing to do here. Did that work? No, it didn't. Let me do this. Okay. I don't know why this typey thing. I don't know why the typey thing doesn't work until I say it's not working and then it works. I don't know why. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. My name is Abby Hagyard, and I am coming to you live from my tiny, perfect studio office here in the nation's capital of Canada, Ottawa, where I have caused the utmost damned astonishment for a very, very long time. And I've been away, and now I'm back, and I am picking up where I left off because why not? So, quick recap on two huge things. For the people who are just joining us, who have just decided to tripped over, found themselves with nothing to do for a few minutes, to take a look at what is this all about. When I decided to come back and re-enter the active, in front of part of show business, because I had stepped away in order to do the behind the scenes stuff, to catch my breath and to rethink where I wanted to go and do and be. I had my own Pivotry in motion moment. I decided that when I did a restart, a reset, that I would be coming at it differently. I would be coming at it from a position of, mom and the Care Bears and all the other stuff and the books that I've either curated or edited or ghosted or written. And I wanted to have an opportunity to blend all that stuff together and give you something that you looked forward to, because it's always been fun to hang out with me, that might have some value, because if you've checked what I'm really saying about a lot of things, it's funny and it's colorful and it's interesting, and there's a message in it. There's always a message in it. Why? Because that's what we do. I tell stories, we all tell stories. Stories are how we learn and how we have fun and how we remember. And so that's what I've been doing. For those of you who are new here, with these videos are kind of my introduction to your opposite view of who I am and what our relationship is. So the idea was for you to remember what I'm like on camera, discover what I'm really like on camera, and give you the opportunity to get used to the idea that I have always been the plotter, the planner, the strategy kid inside mom, inside the Care Bears, inside all of the stuff you ever saw me do, any shows I produced, any events that I created. It was always this. It was always this in there saying, what can I do that's going to make them smile and remember and want to come again? That's what this whole thing in our lives is all about. What can we do to make it worth hanging out and finding out? That's the plan. So that's the first thing. So welcome to all the new people, and to my regulars. Good morning, Freddie. To my regulars, to my loyals, to my partners in scheming and dreaming and planning. Huge thing happened, and I am beyond thrilled, delighted, amazed. Normally when I do these videos on Facebook, I'm not doing a big, heavy-handed push, but I've been doing this. So today is video number 243, and I do them twice a week. So I've been at it for a while now, a little over 2 years. And as I just said, it's the lead-in for Pivotry in Motion and all the other stuff that I'm getting ready to do with you. Okay, so last Thursday's video, I talked about slime and what was behind it and what was really going on. And for the first time, I not only broke 100 views in one day, I topped 300. 300 views. That's just on Facebook. There's a whole ton more on LinkedIn. There's a whole ton more on YouTube. Whether it's because I talked about slime, whether it's because there was just enough of a curiosity and a hook in the title, whether it was just time, it kind of doesn't matter, does it? What matters is that you liked it, that you watched it, you sat all the way through. And all I need to do is keep doing that. I need to get you excited to learn something of value to you. And when I talked about slime, what the point of slime was, what it really delivered, I had a lot of private comments with people who, a couple of people working on the show who said, I forgot that. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's right. That was the sneaky underpinning of that. Huh. How clever of you to remember. And, the reason that I remember some of these things is because there would be downtimes in between sketches. Roger, of course, would be there sitting on the link set. And I would often sit and talk to him and ask him, what on earth are you doing? What is that about? And we would talk and laugh. And a lot of the crazy out of nowhere things that happened for me, the librarian, for instance, came out of one of those conversations. The crème de peanut commercial came out of one of those conversations. Most of the additional characters were just products of riffing conversations that kind of wandered from here and there, and intrigued Roger and said, well, let's try that. Let's see, that sounds like fun. And so we did. So the video today is about water. Now, one of the reasons I want to talk about that is because it is the same outcome for the kids as slime. You got messy, you had to go and get changed, you had to have your makeup redone. On the surface level, same outcome. A little less messy when it was just water. Excuse me. However, the other outcome was that it taught a lesson. The sneaky thing about this one is that it actually taught two. So what this lesson did was everything that you got as a kid with slime and the viewers got with slime with an added bonus. And that's what I'm going to talk about today, because it is so incredibly cool, amazingly cool. So just give me a second. Cheers. Join me, whatever it is your beverage is. 300 views. So there's a thing we do all the time, and I talk about it a lot in the Pivotry project. And that is, we learn by copying people who feel like a leader to us. We learn everything by imitating. Before language, we just watch mom or dad or brother or sister or dog or neighbor's kid or bird or kid in school, teacher. We learn by watching them do stuff. And we either learn to copy them because it seems like a good idea, or we learn to never do that because it seems like, what is that? And that's the fast way to learn. The way we retain in the learning process is through repetition. Any of these self-help go get 'em programs you ever see, they want you to sign up for 30 days. There's a reason for that. It's because if you repeat a thing every day, you retain it. It becomes wired. The brain is very flexible, very, it's called neuroplasticity. You can add, grow, create connecting energy points if you just repeat it enough. the classic example that I use all the time when I'm working with groups, and I say, remember the first time you drove your car? How how busy was that? How horrifying was that? You went out with the instructor, or your parent took you, or if a brother or sister or somebody took you out to a shopping center when it was closed. You drove around and round and round, stalled the car, tried not to hit things, terrified. Now you believe we believe we can do 47 additional things simultaneous with driving because driving has become a thing. We just do that, like breathing. We weren't born driving cars. We didn't climb out of the ooze and crawl into the first cave we saw saying, I wish I had the car. Too bad I didn't charge the battery. It's learned behavior. How did we learn it? We learned it because we wanted to learn it. And so we practiced it every day. And all of a sudden, we're good at it. We're good at it without thinking about it. Correct? Correct. It also applies to bad habits. The same exact rule applies to unfortunate habits as it does good habits. If we do a thing often enough, it becomes an unconscious step in a process. When you get up in the morning and you get ready to present yourself to the world, you do not have to walk yourself through with live instructions on how to brush your teeth. You do not have to remind yourself to put the socks on before the shoes. Unless you're really distracted. You find yourself holding a sock and a shoe and you're looking at both and you for just a second, you're not sure which one should come first. And then a stage manager you says, what is wrong with you? Pay attention. Right. Sorry. Put the shoe down, sock on. So the most important thing in this conversation today, just writing something down. The most important thing in this conversation today is what are we holding on to? Phil, you tried watching live, but it just sits there. Huh. That's very strange. Really, it just sits there. You know what I'm going to try to do? Phil Curry has just said that it's just sitting there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop and I'm going to restart. Okay? I will be right back because I don't want you to miss this. Okay? So hang on just a second. I'm going to just, how do I even do this? Just sits there. You know what? I'm going to keep going because I want to complete this thought, and then I'll do the pattern interrupt. Okay. All right. So actually, just before I continue, you know what? Phil, everybody, I found that my Facebook was glitchy this morning, so they may be doing resets. They quite often, they're doing an upgrade, and you click things and nothing happens. And you just because you keep clicking doesn't mean it gets better. I went away, did something else, refreshed the page, and it was fine. So I thought, okay, just one of those things. So a bad habit is something that doesn't serve us. Basically, that's it. A bad habit is something that doesn't serve our bigger purpose. If we want to lose weight, eating cheese doodles and eating donuts and eating lots of butter on bread isn't going to help. A conversation about whether or not it's good for the heart comes later. The whole idea is what's going on. Why do I keep doing this if it's not helping? And the answer is it's a habit. It's a habit, and it's become unconscious, and we don't even know we're doing it. We've heard people say, I can stand in front of, had a couple of buffering issues this morning too. Okay, so this appears to be consistent. This is some kind of thing going on. I don't know what buffering is, but there we go. So what I want to explain to you about the water joke is going to illustrate it, and then I'll come back afterwards and explain the lesson, because it's so much more fun to talk about the story first, isn't it? Always. Okay, hang on. So good. Okay. If you were a kid on You Can't Do It on Television, and you made the mistake of saying, I don't know, green glop fell upon you from a great height, and everybody pointed and laughed. And as I talked about on Thursday last week, with 300 views, have I mentioned 300 views? Everyone in the beginning, Roger most of all, because it was his idea, had intended it to be the ultimate revenge on children who don't take responsibility for things that happen. Who broke the vase? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Here's an idea. Watch what happens when you say, I don't know. So that became a that'll teach you. That's what the point was. That'll teach you. And so there was an actual physical, visual, textural outcome for not taking ownership. And it was really disgusting. And then this curious thing happened. It became a badge of honor. It was the kids who'd been on the show the longest who got slimed the most. It was disgustingly yucky enough for that audience to say, ooh, cool. Ew, I want to do that. And what shifted in that little moment of, I want to identify with the coolest kids. The coolest kids are the ones who get slimed. I want to be that kid. Yes. Yes, Paul. We created it. We created slime. Roger Price created slime. Other people used it. What are you talking about? So the whole idea of slime was to understand that there is an outcome if you don't take ownership. And the outcome is a punishment you didn't see coming. Because people are only focused on, I don't want to deal with it. Roger's slime gave you an opportunity to see the consequences of not dealing with things in the moment. The transition was, all of a sudden, it was a badge of honor to have been educated in that. As a result, not only did you learn a lesson about taking ownership, you were rewarded when you did. You were rewarded for sitting there and taking it. When that slime dropped on you, there was not a single kid who ran away. Not a single kid. A lot of them looked up into it with their eyes closed. Why? Because they were taking ownership. They made a mistake. They said, I don't know. And ta-da, and they owned it. How about that for a life lesson at the age of 10 or 12? Similarly, more sneaky, even bigger, water. What happens when you say water? Oh, I don't know. It's a glass of water. It's going to rain. Blog. What was that? What was that about? Why, when they said water, did you get watered? What was it for? Aside from funny, aside from not nearly as messy. And by the way, the props crew, the studio crew, Lizzie in makeup, costume, hair, the washing machines, we all thanked Roger's decision to use water sometimes instead of slime. The other reason was this. We all use unconscious words. We all get into habits of using words that don't make any sense. There's no need for them. How did we learn them? We imitated somebody who was doing it. It became a thing that people do. What's one of them? Like, not I like you. Another one is Another one is a string of them together. Like, so, you know. So I'm like, so like what is that? What is that? Okay. What is like so? What is that? It is filler. Why do we say it? We don't know. What is it for? It's instead of just inhaling, it's filling in the silence. It's imitating somebody else who does it who looks really cool. What happens when you just say something without thinking? Nothing, except that it becomes an ingrained habit. What does it mean? It means that if we learned it, we can unlearn it. If we can add it, we can subtract it, we can delete it. How do you remove something that you're not aware of? You make yourself aware of it. You pay attention. How am I going to pay attention if it's unconscious? I don't know. Empty a bucket of water on your head. How about that? And there are lots of technical difficulties. Okay, Freddie, somebody tell me what it's looking like. Is everybody able to see this live? Because I've got a few of you. And Paul, good morning. You've asked a question, so you're anyway. Sorry, I don't want you to miss. And if it's necessary, I will certainly come back and do another version of it. But I want to keep going on the thread while I have it clear in my head. There are words that we use that are harmful. There are words that we use that break up the comprehension, the understanding, the connection that we make with other people. The whole point of a story is to not only share information, but to connect with people and to remember the moment that we connected and remember how it felt when we connected so that we will want to connect again. That's the value of story. Otherwise, you could just post facts. But the connection with other people and the context, it was when it was raining. Remember when it was raining and you forgot your umbrella? Oh my God, how wet did we get? That's a story. That's a story. Unhelpful words are words that confuse the brain. If somebody says, do you want to go to the movies? And you say, oh, I'd love to go to the movies. When? Tonight. Yeah. Oh, but I have to do my laundry. Okay. But is a keyword for that brain. But deletes everything you said before. I'd love to, but means, okay, so Freddie says there's none detected on your Facebook page. All right. All right. So anybody else, just chime in and let me know how many of you are, if you're having issues of some kind. Although if you're having issues, how can you chime in? So back to this thing about the words we don't know we use. If you say but as a conjunction, I know but, it means to the person who has just said something that the listener, the person responding, is saying, I am aware of what you're saying, I'm deleting what you're saying. I am aware of what you're saying. For me, there is no value in what you're saying. That's what this brain gets. That is a flag for this brain that you and these other person are not having the same conversation. Now we are going to talk about why that happens on Thursday, because this is kind of a thread here in terms of connection, in terms of things really resonating and making you say, oh my gosh, yes, this is where I wanted us to get. And if I got there last Thursday on video number 242, all right, that means that we are starting now at a higher level. Fabulous. So if you say, so like, why are you stalling? Why are you hedging your opening? Why are you hanging back? So like, what is that? That is a nervous tick. When you read a book, unless it's written and the dialogue is somebody who talks like that, books don't begin. So I'm like, okay, so like in the beginning, books aren't written like that. Math problems aren't written like that. Okay, so like you have 12 cantaloupes. It's no book that's written like that. Why? It's a textbook. They're not stalling. They want to present the challenge. They want to present the test. They want to move forward with you with information. Fiction. So I'm like, he was really hot. And so like every time he looked at me, I got like all, wow and stuff. Unhelpful words. When we do an exercise in connecting and being in the moment and powerful and front and center and invested in what's going on, we play games like that. We deliberately do it the wrong way so that everybody laughs at it and recognizes how goofy it is, how pointless it is, and how long we have been doing that. We can't remember the first time we did it. It's become unconscious, like driving the car down a long highway road with no interruptions. You can kind of check out and the subconscious brain drives the car until, moose or cow, accident, thunder. And then it says, here, conscious brain, you're up. So water was a lesson in listening to you. If you're talking, you should be listening to you. You're right there. Your mouth, you should be listening to you. If you're not listening to you, who is handing out the words you're saying? If you're not on top of it, if you're not, as a friend of mine says, if you're not the one front and center inspecting what you're expecting, who is? Who is? And if you're not the one front and center inspecting what you're expecting, oh my God, how long have I had spinach in my teeth? What do you mean, how long? Don't you have a mirror? Don't you check after you eat? Well, I didn't, I didn't think I had anything. Why didn't you look? I don't know. I was busy. Doing what? Nothing. Doing nothing. Assuming everything's fine. So the water gag, funny all by itself, on the theme, on the thread, on the magnificence, on the same level as slime, was designed to get a child's attention in an adult world. Kids are operating doing this, adults are operating doing that. They from time to time check in on each other, but not as often as they can. And clearly not as often as they should. Not to see what you're up to, but to just check in. I had 102 children. I didn't check in on them every day at home. I didn't show up at their house. Can you imagine? Abby, what are you doing here? Oh, hello. Oh, hello, dear. I just thought I would check. Are you wearing clean underwear? Can you imagine? Can you imagine? We do have the opportunity, though, to check in on us every day. There are easy ways to do it. Really easy ways to do it. That don't take a lot of time, that aren't a lot of bother. And I'm going to give you one of them right now. It's a simple win hack. You know these Post-it note things? You know these things? Clever thing, it's sticky on one side and you can put it on something. going to put it on my head, but so you can put it on it, then you can take it off. You can put it someplace else, right? You can do that, right? And you can reuse them, right? That's a Post-it note, cheap. Okay, you take one of these, and if you don't have any, 50 people who do. Okay, I'm just saying. You take one of these, and you write the thing that annoys you that you do, that you keep forgetting to think about. You write it down, whatever it is. Quotes, and put it someplace that you're always going to see. Put it someplace. Technical friends, so funny. Technical difficulties none detected on my page. Your individual results may vary. Exactly, Freddie. Exactly. So you take this Post-it note, you write here. I'm going to do it. Okay, does that show up? Does that show up? Yes, it does. Okay. So where are you going to put it? Beside the coffee maker? On the mirror where you brush your teeth? On the door jamb by the front door? You're going to stick it to your key fob? Put it in your wallet? Stick it on the front page of the to-do list for today? Wherever you're going to put it, do more than one. Remind yourself that this is a thing you want to get rid of. That's all it is. It's a reminder. Oh, yeah, I have to pay attention. I have to pay attention. When do you have to pay attention? When you open your mouth to speak, probably. That would be the time. Right? So what did Roger accomplish with that? Well, he accomplished 80% of it. He got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of kids to pay attention when they were answering a question, to actually listen to the question, to actually listen in the conversation they were having. Listen to what the other person is saying, listen to what they are saying, and avoid a word that had a penalty attached. Yeah, I'm on this new diet. I have to drink a lot of fluids, preferably without any additives in them. A lot of fluids, 7 or 8 bottles a day, maybe a gallon. I don't know what it is. I have to do that because it's going to help. Instead of saying, I got to drink a lot more water, bloosh, you became aware of the word water. If you can become aware of the word water because of a sketch like that, you can become aware of any word that you're using. You can become aware of any verbal habit that you have, any physical habit that you have, any annoying little tick that you have developed that you're not really that aware of, in the same way. Instead of positioning a bucket on a door jamb and forcing yourself to go stand under it when you make the mistake, write it down. How many times did I catch myself today? 6. How many times today? 37. How many times today? 2. Now I'm going to tell you why I know it works. I know it works for me because of a lot of things that I am working on all the time to be less distracted, right? Stay focused. I know it works because of the way Roger applied the same principle in teaching the kids, the way Carol Hay applied the same principle in giving the kids ownership of the tools she taught them to use. We were involved in the creation of a very important, game-changing, expensive television series. We changed the nature of children's television forever in terms of the children's expectation of what spoke to them. They said, those people get me. Those people understand. I identify with them. In the thousands and thousands and thousands. Because of our show, Nickelodeon is a juggernaut, is a powerhouse now. They paid for the license to broadcast our show. It could have been a dud. They've paid the money to license and broadcast a ton of shows since those early days. Not all of them have been a hit. Some of them have been okay. Some of them have been great. But in Australia today, still, you can't do that on television, has stood the test of time. Why? So many reasons. The writing, the intention, the focus, the respect for kids, the respect for those relationships that kids have with each other and kids don't have with each other in real life. It was an important show. It was goofy as, oh my God, it's the goofiest, silliest thing. Among all the goofy, silly things that I have done in my life, you can't do that on television. Is right up there. And consistent. How did he get that? How did he get that quality out of ordinary, everyday kids? They came to the studio every day after school. And we just sat there and read the script for that weekend. We all the kids who were involved in the show, we all together sat around a boardroom table. We all had a copy of the script for that weekend, the shooting script. All the things we were going to shoot that Saturday and Sunday, all of it on paper in front of us at the boardroom table. And we all sat there and listened and read and reacted and we discussed and we laughed and we made changes. And we did it every day. Not just the adults, not just the kids alone, in a play area for the little ones at a different table. No. All of us together every day. Why? Roger was creating a habit. Carol was creating a habit. Brenda was creating a habit. And the habit was, we are in this together. Let's do this together. Let's pay attention together. Let's make it amazing together. And we did it every day. The kids signed a contract. The parents signed the contract for the kids. And do you understand that for the editing reasons, you can't just randomly cut your hair or get a tattoo or change something visible about you without talking to us first, without getting permission, because the way we edited the show, what we shot on Saturday didn't go live as it was. It was edited together with content for 5 weeks. It was a big deal. How did we achieve a big deal? One small repetition every day. Take the script home with you, learn your lines, bring the script back to rehearsal to read through every day. We didn't do rehearsals until we were on the set, because you need to be on the set to be able to know how many steps it is from the couch to the chair, how many steps it is from the table to the kitchen counter. You need to know physically and visually where you are in order to be able to practice it for the camera. The camera needs to watch you practice. The director, the producer, they need to see what it looks like to be able to give you good directions, good suggestions. In order to do all that, you have to know the material. How is the best way to know the material? Practice it with people. Practice the lines. If I'm in a sketch with Alistair, it doesn't benefit me if I don't rehearse it with Alistair. If Roger says, Abby, I'd like you to try something with Les. Can you do this and that? Of course. If I bumped into him in the cafeteria and I would say, how do you feel about such and such? Can we add that? You talk to Roger? Yes. Why? Because it was part of our daily routine. And the thing that I want to say about this that is so cool and so interesting is this: the daily routine is interesting when you're making note of it. Every day. How did I do today? How was your day? The water and slime and you can't do that was our generation's update. Yes, yes, yes. Every situation that we face, thank you, Lee. Every nothing gets your attention like a bracing deluge of water. That's right, Freddie. Whoa. The interesting thing about the water and the slime that people don't realize, and why would they, is that when you're in a studio and you're under the lights aren't here, right? The lights are up there, but they're hot. It's hot under the lights. You're there all day. You go away, you have lunch, you go back to the makeup room after lunch, and they refresh the makeup, whatever, change your clothes, whatever, and you come back. The makeup and the hair and the costume people are always on the set because you're under hot lights, and they're always watching to see if something important has changed because of continuity. If I look shiny in this split second and then I don't in the next split second because of the edit that was done 5 weeks later, it looks weird. And so that's their job, is to make sure that there's a continuity. It looks the same, the same, the same. Things change us. We change things. If we're not aware of it, we're not in charge. We don't own it. We're a spectator. If we want to get better, as my friend Lisa says, inspect the thing you expect. If you want great, make sure. Don't leave it to chance. Roger wanted excellent work out of his kids. He wanted them to be seen at their best. He didn't achieve that by cracking a whip. He achieved it by giving them tools and processes that were manageable, that didn't feel overwhelming. Oh, I got a script. I have to learn all these lines by next week. Oh, no. He took all that away. If you go and you read through every day, interacting with people, it's not a chore. It's fun. Is it? Yeah, I was going to go after school, but I forgot I have read through. I got to go to read through. Okay. Oh, well, sucks to be us. And the learning was easy. And then we forget. And then we walk away from that and we don't keep doing that. If you have a plastic or a silk flower, they don't die. You have to dust them. They don't die. You don't have to water them. You don't have to change the soil. If you want something that grows and thrives and evolves and prospers, you got to be in the process with it, doing the work. Small, simple wins every day. So water from a tap in a metal bucket dropped on a child who's been standing under a hot light is a moment in time. Because we know what's going to happen. We're standing on the tarp. We know that Lizzie's there with the towel. We've rehearsed this. We know we're going to get it. Nothing prepares you for the shock of, and if it hits here and then your chest, it's I know this firsthand. Oh my God. The Halloween sketch where dad has a fire bucket full of water. And to get even with the kids who keep ringing the doorbell, he's got the fire bucket full of water beside his chair. And he says to Lisa, the next time the doorbell rings, I got a little surprise for them. The doorbell rings. He says, open the door. She opens the door. He throws the contents of the bucket Unfortunately, it's not a kid on the other side of the door. It's mom who rang the doorbell because she had her arms full of groceries. So I'm I'm outside that door that is going to open. We've rehearsed it. I'm I'm protected as much as we could protect me. I had a coat on, I had a hat on, I had the 2 bags full of groceries that I think were probably filled with paper towels, so it would absorb some of it. Nevertheless, floosh. The when you do see that video, when you do see that sketch in the bloopers, I think it's in the bloopers. There's the strand of the wig is straight. The reason it's straight is because it's soaking wet. I mean, it wasn't hair, it was acrylic, right? The reason it's soaking wet is the take that they used, because we did it several times, getting it wrong, laughing, missteps, whatever. I was soaking wet. We did it like 6 times. 6 times. I know I'm going to get hit again. Does it still prepare me? No. So the water and slime onion was our generation's up to date to the classic pie in the face gang. It is, it is it definitely is a pie in the face. The difference, Lee, is that we know who is delivering the pie. Our adversary is in front of us. Technically, if we knew they were a jokester, somebody who likes to, get even, we could prepare. The idea with slime and the water was that it came out of nowhere, out of the clear blue of the western sky. Suddenly an oven. It was exactly what life feels like when we don't prepare. When we get comfortable and complacent and think, so far, if it's not raining now, it won't rain. I will never need an umbrella. Boom shakalaka. So what is so valuable and so important now that we are so much wiser, so many years later, if you go back and you look at some of those episodes, some of your favorite episodes, you go on YouTube and you type in the search words, the episode, the theme, whatever it is, and you rewatch it from where you are now and watch what you have seen a million times, you'll see it. You'll see that the water joke was a lesson on pay attention to what you say. Be present. Don't live your life on autopilot. Be here now. Why? What's going to happen? Sploosh. Ew. Or dangerous? No. Harmful? No. Disrupting, distracting? Oh, yeah. Pay attention to what you say and do. Don't be anxious about it. Just own it. Simply be here when you open your mouth. I have this story that I tell. It is one of my favorite stories. When I lived in Brooklyn, slime has an underlying metaphorical philosophy. Yes, the underlying metaphorical philosophy is, how disgusting can we make it without harming the children? Without making it impossible to get it out and get them changed and get them back. that was the first underlying layer. So the value in this conversation, the value in having this moment, is that people are lazy until the lesson comes back and says, hi, remember me? So the story that I was just about to say, I was living in Brooklyn, New York. I was living in the neighborhood where they shot Saturday Night Fever. So you picture that movie, you picture those kids, you picture them talking that way, and that was my neighborhood. And then every day I left that neighborhood and I got on the subway and I came out in uptown Manhattan, at a very, very shishy location where I went to work. Culture shock 2 times a day. I had a car. It was a funky little Jeep. I adored it. A lot like a Volkswagen thing, except that it was made by Citroen, so it was even weirder than a Volkswagen thing. And I came home from work, and somebody had vandalized my car. And I didn't know what to do because I didn't know anybody. I had just moved there. All of a sudden, in the middle of the night, there's a knock at the door. Boom, boom, boom. Very scary. I go and I open the door, and it's a biker standing there. I know it's a biker because he's dressed like a biker and he looks like a biker, and it's terrifying. And he says, "Yeah, hi. I and the boys were downstairs, and we're going to fix your car. I need the keys." I have no idea who this person is. I've never seen him in my life, and I'm terrified. I said, "Do you want the registration?" He says, "Don't I need for the registration? I'm not driving it. I'm fixing it. Give me the keys." And so I gave him the keys. And he says, "Thanks," walks away. I close the door, and I put a chair up under the doorknob. A couple of days later, I'm home from work, knock on the door, boom, boom, boom. And I went to the door and I said, without opening, "Yes, yeah, it's me." Open the door. It's the guy, the biker. "Shall we?" He said, "Yeah, we fixed your car. It's downstairs. I and the boys, we got to show it to you." I go downstairs. There's 8 of them standing around my car. They giant, dangerous, menacing looking guys acting like 10-year-olds punching each other. It was so cool. And they were so proud. He says, "Yeah, we only have one problem. It's a weird car." "What is this car?" The problem is that when you hit the high beam, the horn honks. We can't figure out why." Okay. And he said, "Oh yeah." And I said, "Everything else works?" "It does." And I said, "Thank you. I don't know." I was about to say, "I don't know how I can thank you." And then I thought, there's 8 bikers and me. I'm not going to ask that question. I said, "This is amazing. If I just, what can I say?" And the guy said, "You don't got to say nothing." And he said, "In case you're worrying, we found the guy who tried to break into it and steal it. And he ain't going to do that no more. We taught him a lesson." And I said, "Really? Did you call the police?" "No, of course not. Why would we call the police?" What am I thinking? He says, "Yeah, he's a local junkie. So what we done is we broke both his arms at the elbows." I said, how could you do that?" He said, "It's very simple. What you do is you take a short length of pipe, you put it behind the." I said, "No, no, 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 I don't want to know how. I want to know how." And he stood there and he said, "Are you listening to you?" In my defense, prior to that experience, I had never spent any time surrounded by 8 bikers, ever. In my other defense, I had never had a biker tell me a thing like that. So probably using the wrong words. If I'd had my wits about me, I wouldn't have said, "I don't want the instructions. I want to know how you're okay with doing that to another human being." Equally, I would have had probably the same answer. Because in his mind, cause, effect. And he was not granted, that fellow was not for a long time going to break into any cars. He also wasn't going to be able to be a junkie because he broke both his arms at the elbows. It's an evil and clever retribution. The lesson I learned then, I forget easily. Are you listening to you? Is the question. Are you listening to you when you open your mouth? Did you have any idea what the person speaking to you just said? Were you paying attention? Were you actually Were you present? Do you understand who that person is and why they would say that to you from where they come? Are you engaged in any of that to understand this conversation that you're part of? Did you attend a read through yesterday? The answer is no to all of them. No, I don't understand. No, I'm not here. No, I wasn't paying attention. No, I really? Then A, where were you? And B, why were you not here, not listening, not present, not adding it up, not paying attention? Why did you leave the driver's seat of your bus unattended? What did you think would happen? I don't know. Boosh. That'll teach you. Then again, maybe not. So, the way I want to wrap this up, what I want to say today is that it's easier to pay attention in the moment than have to redo and do it again. It's easier to listen to what's going on. It's easier to look at people and watch their actions and their mannerisms and their tone of voice and think about who they are and from whence they come, and therefore what the thing they're saying actually means in their language. It's easier to do that than say, well, I didn't know. I mean, look at this. What am I going to do now? It's easier to be present in the moment than do the cleanup, then go to summer school, then start again. It's easier to be here now for a very short time. It's easier to be here for a good time and not have to come back for a long time because we couldn't be bothered, because I'll deal with it later. Because every day, every minute later is now. It's always now. And you can run from it all you like. When you round the corner, there it is. And the reason is everywhere you go, there you are. And your retribution is waiting for you. Hi, how you been? Boof. So I'm going to, when I finish this, and I'm going to wrap it up right now. When I finish this, I'm going to check and see what the problem was, and if there's something I need to redo, then I will take a look. I apologize if anybody's had a hard time with this. I'm really sorry that the technical stuff sometimes, has an up and down bumpy trajectory. The good thing to remember is how lucky we are that we have it at all. How lucky we are that we can do this. How grateful I am. 300 views last week. Wouldn't it be amazing if we do it again? Wouldn't it be amazing if this is the trend? How about that? Awesome. Okay, so it's like Zen mindfulness. The Tao slide. There was a bit about who made a worse pie, Lisa or Christine. I'm sure that in real life their pies are excellent. Sure. I don't know. I would imagine that Lisa has become exceptional, given the family. I suppose Christine would be too. It's never occurred to me that she would spend a lot of time lovingly in a kitchen. She's so busy and doing other things. In any case, I want to thank you so much for watching today. I want to thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk about the sneaky hidden stuff inside. You can't do that on television. It is so much fun having those conversations. And I'm so glad we came to it now. I'm so glad that we have this happening. So between now and Thursday this week, and as I've said, I have a really, really cool thing to talk about on Thursday. You know the drill. I want you to be good to you. You deserve it. Be present for you. You deserve to be present for you. You are the best thing in your life, and you're always with you. So you deserve to be recognized for that. And remember to hug your loved ones, because oh boy, do they deserve it too. All right. Tell your friends how much fun this is. Thinking better on the front end with better results on the back end, hopefully. Yeah, you know what, Jeff? Oh, you mean a plan? There's an idea. So tell your friends. Tell your friends that something's happened. All of a sudden, there's like hundreds of people. What happened? Where did they come from? The invisible bus has arrived. Okay. Be good to you. Have a great couple of days. Remember to, now that you have a second little thing to do, write your ums on Post-it notes and post them. Remember to ask yourself, how's my day on a scale of 1 to 10? How is the day? Not your, how's the day on a scale of 1 to 10? And write it down. When something great happens, right then, how's it going? Awesome. Perfect 10. Okay. Simple win. And I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.